Good morning, students. Today I'm going to speak about navigating through intricacies in the field of criminal law in court practice. Does this not appear to be a very dull subject? You must be thinking I'll be speaking about Code of Criminal Procedure, Indian Evidence Act, Indian Penal Code, and your new inductees. But this is not a very dull subject, I'm telling you. As I speak about the subject, you will be able to know what actually a criminal lawyer does. And it's very important to know because since you have already decided to become lawyers, after 5 years in 2028, when you join any criminal lawyer's office, you will have this knowledge what a lawyer does. So you will be more comfortable working with a criminal lawyer. But before I touch the subject, I want to know from you who has interest in criminal law. Anybody? Yes. Please rise and tell me what was the reason or inspiration to pursue profession in criminal law after you complete your law degree. Anybody can just stand up and tell me. Can you just pass the mic? Yes, please tell your name and rise up.
Good morning, myself Nirjara Sheth. I'm a second generation lawyer. My dad is already a lawyer. He was practicing in a criminal law before a year. Now he has already left that criminal side. But he inspired me a lot to be in a criminal side. But sometimes he used to tell me, don't be in a criminal side. As a girl, it is not that safe for you.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Don't be afraid. Nobody is going to laugh at you. It's going to be very interactive. I want to know exactly what all you are thinking. Yes.
Good morning, sir. Kashak Agarwal this side. I'm a first generation lawyer. So I think that criminal law is very thrilling. We get to know very different aspects of life, to getting to know different parts of life, the different cases. We get to like solve different cases or
Yes.
get proofs about different cases. Get to
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else wants to share something? What inspired you to pursue the field of criminal law in future in 2028? Okay. Most of the young students, because you are inductees, normally they learn about this criminal law when they see some Bollywood movies or Netflix series, Lincoln Lawyer, Suits, or movies like Damini, Etras. When you go back home, you may just go to YouTube and search for the old movie Dostana. That will give you some idea what a criminal lawyer did in that case. It was a case about medical jurisprudence. A police officer kills a man in lockup. He has no way out. He can't say the man was not killed. It was a murder case. He can't say the man was murder was not his accused, not in his custody. Because he had arrested him and put him in lockup. So how a criminal lawyer uses his brain, researches a lot, learns about medical jurisprudence, and finds a way out from the most impossible situation. So why this profession is interesting, why the criminal law profession is interesting? Because a criminal lawyer is supposed to do something impossible. Man is going to be hanged and you save his life. Of course, you don't do for charity. This legal profession is a very lucrative profession. You'll earn a lot of money out of it. But more than that, if you have the skills, the satisfaction which you have of saving somebody's life, that purges all the guilt involved with defending criminals. Because people always say outside in society, people always say criminal are to ગુનેગારોને બચાવે છે, ખોટું કામ કરે છે, which is against our religious beliefs. But what will they say when actually you have saved an innocent person from hanging or from life imprisonment? All these laws is not enough, because these laws have been challenged, these sections have been challenged since 1950 in various High Court and Supreme Court. So there are certain judgments on the interpretation of the said sections. Those judgments you will see in the law books, in our various libraries. And from those judgments, you get the idea for how the concepts of certain sections have been clarified and principles have been laid down by various high courts. Once you have those knowledge about those subjects, then you can prepare for the trial. If a trial is well fought, even if a man is convicted, he can be acquitted by higher court if it was properly tried. So, criminal lawyer's job is not simply to earn acquittal, but his job is to focus on the process in such a way that in worst case scenario, if his client is convicted, proved guilty because the judge is biased against his client, he can take the case to high court and get it reversed. And there are many cases where lower court judgments have been reversed in the high court, and then high court judgment has been reversed in Supreme Court. So if it is reversed in Supreme Court, it's only on the purely on the question of law. There can be some contradiction about interpretation of law. So this is a basic thing I'm telling you, what a criminal lawyer has to know and learn. Once the criminal lawyer is ready with his knowledge, the most important thing is execution. How you execute the knowledge. You learn basics of science, but you do not know what to do in the laboratory. How to mix two chemicals and find a third chemical. So that's why in science, for science students there is practical. But for our law students there is no practical. Nobody will tell you, now you go and fight one case. You have to complete the study of law first, and then join a criminal law firm to learn and understand the process, practical process, and what goes through a criminal lawyer's mind. Before I take further, I'll just want to share one case which I had fought, which will give you some idea how a criminal lawyer has worked in the case. As I was introduced, I got a Sanad in 1992, and since I'm a second generation lawyer, I already knew my father used to fight many criminal cases, used to discuss certain stories. Some were very scary and some were very interesting. So, after getting comfortable with the process, after 1 year of our practice, I got a chance to defend 7 dacoits. After dacoity, they also committed murder. And after the crime, they ran away. And this was somewhere in 1990, and they were arrested in 1992. The case was put up for trial in 1993. And they approached me and trusted me that I will defend them. But simply client's trust is not enough. They had committed dacoity. They were taken by police before the magistrate. And they were mixed up with different people of the same height and color. And the witnesses pointed out they are the ones who committed crime. So they were identified in the test identification parade held by the magistrate. And they were seen by these people who were injured, who were alive. One had died, but other 5 people are well injured. An injured person doesn't speak lies. He will not involve a wrong person. So for a defense lawyer, it was the most difficult case because you have to prove to the judge that all his witnesses are liars. Even though they are injured, they can't be believed. You have to prove it. And you have to also prove that the test identification parade was held was wrong. But since I was already quite aware about the system. I had already read a lot of case files related to criminal law. I remembered one case where a man was acquitted by High Court because on the night when the crime was committed, it was Amavasya night. You know Amavasya night, there is no moon night. So there was no moonlight from which a witness can see the accused committing crime. This case came to mind and I started doing my research. Luckily, I bought a 100 years Panchang where we have this days on which it is either Krishna Paks or Shukla Paks. From that, I found out that on that particular night when the crime was committed, it was at about 7 o'clock in the evening. It was past darkness and it was Amavasya night. So I was a little bit it was comforting to me, at least there is something for me. But it was not enough. So simply I could tell the judge, sir, Amavasya night no kuno che chhodi do ene. Every time that. Because I have to also prove to the judge that this test identification was not believable or what was false. But I was a very lucky guy. Usko kehte hain na ki destiny child. This case was perfectly made for me. Why I am saying so? Because when I read the whole Panchanama of test identification parade, there was one line written by the magistrate that this accused who was standing, who have been identified, one of them has said that the witness has come and seen me on the previous day in the police station. He simply noted down. That's not enough. But tell the judge, sir, આ તો લખ્યું છે આવી રીતે કે આ તો મને જોવાયા હતા. છોડી મૂકો. He will not acquit the client. Your client can speak lies. He can try to misguide the magistrate. You have to prove that actually they had gone and seen him. That's where the skills of criminal lawyer comes in. The art of cross-examination. You have to put the questions to the witness in such a way that witness comes and admits, હા સાહેબ હું ગયો હતો આગલા દિવસે હું જોવા ગયો હતો આ ગુનેગારને. That admission you should bring from the witness's mouth. And that witness should not know that this question is going to come. It should be impromptu. It should be out of the bolt. And that's the art. That art you can learn only through practice. So, as on today, I have already 31 years of practice. I have handled more than 4,000 cases. So for me, it's like walking on the swimming pool. Now, when the case progressed, my cross-examination was ready. I started putting questions to the witness. Since I could not put direct questions to the witness, I cannot tell him, अच्छा તમે તો ગયા હતા ને પોલીસ સ્ટેશનમાં. He will say, no, nothing. He will not say so. He will know what I'm trying to ask him. So a defense lawyer is not supposed to tell the witness what is going to be his defense. He has to make him so comfortable, so friendly, make him so at home, as if he's drinking coffee with me. So when I put the questions to the witness, general questions, what do you do, what business do you do, what's your daily routine, this, that, without taking him to the real story. And then suddenly, okay, we're very so sad that this wrong thing happened, somebody from a family has been killed, and you must have gone to a police station, you must have given statement, and then the accused are not arrested. You must have been waiting. Yes, sir, we were waiting for 2 years. Okay, suddenly you saw on TV, the accused is arrested. No, the policeman called me. Okay, so policeman called you, so the policeman came to pick you up, or you went to police station? No, sir, he called me, so we went to police station. Okay, then when did you went? This particular date, the one day previous to the TI parade. Okay, so you met the officer. Yeah, we met the officer. He was a nice guy. I met the officer and he told me, see, all these accused are here in the lockup. So I was very inquisitive. I went and saw him. Then I was satisfied, yeah, they are the ones. My job is done. Once you admit to the court that you have seen the man whom you have identified in the group of 10 100 people, that you have seen him on the previous day, that means you had full opportunity to see the man and then next day identify him, which means the next day identification parade was a farce, was a drama, was an eyewash. So it has no value. All the value was zeroed down because of the cross-examination. So now the big burden on my head that the test identification parade is not believable has gone. But that's not enough. The injured witnesses are saying, "Ah, sir, हमें जोया था, हमने crime करू छे." That is enough. Even one witness is enough. So now the question was how to handle these 5 witnesses, how to prove that they are injured but they are wrong. So instead of defaming them, I had to create a doubt. Because the criminal law is based on few principles of law. The first principle is the accused is presumed to be innocent till proved guilty. Second principle is the prosecution has to stand on its own legs. So it's not supposed to stand on defense legs. That आरोपी झूठ बोलो એટલે આપણે સજા કરી દઈએ. It is not like that. You have to prove your case. The prosecution has to prove its case. And prosecution cannot depend on the defense story. If a defense story is false, it's okay. What's your story? So these are basic principles, and apart from that, the accused has the right to silence. Nobody can pressurize the accused to speak about the crime. So you can't use confession against him. So these basic principles you have to keep in mind as a criminal lawyer. That apart, all this technical knowledge is okay. अभी करने का क्या, ये 5 विटनेस ने तो कोर्ट में बोल दिया कि these are the people who have committed crime, they were dacoits, they pulled up, they snatched our cash and ran away. So we had to do some research. I had to go to the scene of offense, check up the site. After seeing the site, I was little satisfied because it was on the railway track. They were having a shop on one side of the railway track. The 5 brothers would come together. They will collect the cash, they put it in one bag, then they will move after closing their shops on the other side of the track, and they have the houses on the other side. So these dacoits, they had intercepted them, confronted them on the railway tracks. The crime happened on the railway tracks. So after seeing the scene, I realized, यहाँ पे कोई बिजली का खंभा तो नहीं है. So no street lights, no artificial lights. But still, I had to prove there was no light. So I had to put them questions to the witnesses. When you cross the railway tracks, naturally it is not near the platform, it's far away from the railway platform, almost 2 kilometers from the platform. So there are no street poles nearby the railway tracks. Normally there are none. So they said, yes, there is no street lights. If they try to speak lies, I can tell them, show me the Panchnama. The police Panchnama shows any street poles. So there's zero chance they will speak lies. And even if they speak lies, even if there is any chance, the police officer can come and say that during investigation he did not find any street poles because he had to write in his report. Those street lights were not there. Moonlight was not there because of the Amavasya night. So the only thing now remains is sunlight. It was evening time. But then in evening time, Panchang also says Suryasta kab hota hai and Suryodaya kab hota hai. So the Panchang was very helpful to me. So that it was past 7 o'clock and the Suryas was at about 6:30 or something. So that time was matching my story. As I said, I was very lucky. This situation was there. So I put those questions, relevant questions, whereby I could make out that the witnesses were not having any chance to see because of no moonlight, no sunlight, and no street light. And luckily, there was no description in the FIR. Whatever accused were there, who they were tall, short, dark, white. Nothing was there. So that helped me in building up my arguments. That the witnesses didn't have enough chance to see them properly because of the lack of light, and therefore there was reasonable doubt that they are the real people. Police may have arrested wrong people and framed them to close the case. So this is how the work of criminal lawyer happens, and actually they were acquitted. So I saved them from hanging and from life imprisonment. So there are so many cases where you have to have the knowledge of so many things, not simply CRPs and evidence act. Like I used the Panchang. There are cases where you have to have knowledge of medical legal knowledge. There are cases you have to have knowledge about so many subjects. Like there was one case where one accused was coming in a train from Bombay to Ahmedabad, and he was carrying a bag containing automatic pistols and live cartridges and foreign-made guns, pistols. They were arrested with Panchanama, and the judge also said there is nothing in it to defend. But our belief in the system is very strong, and our confidence was very high. That in a case where there is no chance of success, we think with reverse thinking tactics. We always disbelieve and doubt what the officers are doing. And our doubt helps us work hard. So we doubted the whole process of arrest and everything. So we physically went and investigated as if we are cops. We went to the railway station. We checked up with the TC. We asked him his chart. Again, we were very lucky. The chart mentioned the train has come at 9:30. And actually the time written in the papers was 7:30 in the morning, because train comes at 7:30, official time is 7:30. The police officer will not risk of writing any other time. But they were also not knowing the train was late. They simply got information, they arrested and went to the police station and prepared the Panchanama. So when we got this information, it's not enough. We can't tell the judge, sir, train to late thi, chhod do inko. Doesn't happen. You have to prove it. You have to actually prove it that it is not possible to recover these pistols in a bag early in the morning at 7:30 when there is no train. So we again requested for issuing summons to the railway department with a chart. We called for the chart. We examined the chart. We placed it in the court. And then we argued, sir, this chart already says that train has arrived at 9:30. By which magic you can bring these pistols at 7:30 in the morning? So the argument was that these people have been framed up. Of course, crime had happened. Of course, there were some criminals, but the real criminals have been allowed to go, and these innocent people have been framed. So this is the job of a criminal lawyer. He has to think out of the box, and he has to get inspiration from so many places. We have also used this type of inspiration from many sources. So a lawyer has to be a good reader. He has to read a lot of books. He has to read on many subjects. So, in short, I would like to say that lawyer's job is not very easy, as you have seen. But you must have also observed it's very exciting. It's challenging. And most important thing, it pays you a lot. इतने मुश्किल केस को आप हैंडल करोगे तो कोई फ्री में तो नहीं करवाएगा आपसे, और कम पैसों में तो करना भी नहीं. So my important share with you all is that if you have chosen to pursue a legal profession in the criminal law, it's going to be most exciting, most interesting, and most satisfying. But at the end of the day, you will realize that you have saved someone's life. But you also have to keep in mind that there is a lot to learn. A lawyer is always a learner. So the day a lawyer stops learning, he stops being loyal to his profession. And what really differentiates a good lawyer from bad lawyer is that a good lawyer always believes in legal ethics. There is no other profession in the world which focuses more on ethics, professional ethics. What I mean to say by professional ethics is that you don't get indulging into misconduct. What people loosely say, this can happen, that can happen, ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, that doesn't really happen. It's only hard work which helps you get results. So there are a lot of rules of ethics you have to follow. as you will go through this 5 years course, you will be also taught subjects of professional ethics. So don't burden yourself with what you will do after 5 years. Try to focus on your studies because this will help you a lot. After you join the legal profession in 2028, that time, whatever you study in the class, whatever studied from the faculty, whatever activities you've done, those things will always help you. Just want to share an interesting quote from Robert Smith Surtees. He says, there are 3 types of lawyers: able lawyers, unable lawyers, and lamentable lawyers. So you don't have to be a lamentable lawyer. You have to be able lawyer. You have to work hard and prove yourself. And unable lawyers don't exist because unable lawyers are ones who are misfits. So suppose you want to pursue a profession of criminal law, you should also have a mindset of a criminal lawyer. Even though you from your heart believe कि यार इसमें तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते, but your gut should say कुछ करके दिखाएंगे. That confidence should be there. Because for us also, on the day one when we saw these cases we just shared with you, we had never had a belief कि कुछ कर पाएंगे, but we had a confidence. And even today also, in worst case, we have the confidence to find a way out. But when you enter the swimming pool only, then you know you will cross that line. Till you enter the pool, you always feel you will get drowned. So you have to take some risk. So in the end, this is a very interesting profession, and I would like to suggest certain books we should read. So there's one book from Tim Healy, The Greatest Trials of the World. That will help you out in learning how the great trials are conducted. One more book, The Art of Cross-Examination by Francis Wellman. This is not actually a book, it's a Bible. It's a tutorial. It is not to be read, it has to be imbibed in you. Because each and every page will help you various tricks and various methods to use for cross-examination of witness or for cross-examination of an expert. And one last interesting book is Memories of Murder by Tony Fletcher. This book is about how a police officer who became a fingerprint expert was able to crack many murder cases based on fingerprints. But this book is from the police officer's angle. Try to think from a lawyer's angle. How you can defend your client, or how you could have shown a different view to the judge about whether the really man is convicted for the crime or not. So for reading, you should, whatever you like, you should read. But to become a criminal lawyer, these are 4 books I have shared with you, you should read. So thank you all to be a nice audience. I was seeing all of you paying attention and listening to me very patiently, and hope this helps you in future. Thank you so much.